It's Buenos Aires day 2. And if you follow me, you'll know that I like the quirky, the strange, the weird. So I've come to start the day at San Telmo, one of the oldest districts in Buenos Aires. And the reason I've come here is this street that I'm in celebrates cartoon characters. So on the walls, you got some up there, all the way down there, but more importantly, they've got statues all the way along the street. Now most of these cartoon characters are Latin American or Spanish, so I have no idea who they are. I do recognise him from somewhere, but just gonna have a wander down. So this is a Saturday market. It's full of the locals buying fruit and veg from the looks of it. Now I have extended for 2 more nights in Buenos Aires, leaving on Monday morning, only because there is so much to see and I don't think I'm going to see everything. You'd have to spend at least 2 weeks to go and explore the whole city. And I know I will get a lot of people saying you need to go here, you need to go there. I'm trying my best. So another little cartoon character there, an old woman with a basket of fruit on her head. Now the main reason I've come here is I've heard there's a museum that has underground tunnels, and it's just around the corner according to my map. There's another one, statue with another cartoon, no idea. So this area would have been where the rich colonials lived, and at the moment it's very muddy. I don't know why I'm standing on there, because last night there was a massive storm that hit Buenos Aires. So the first thing this morning was a little bit damp. Now up there seems to be a bit of a crowd of people. Walking tour. In fact, there's a few walking tours around here. Oh, there's a queue. The queue seems to be for these lots. Right, I've just had to Google who these things are, these cartoons. Mafalda. It's big, massive in Latin America, in Spain. Seemingly the one that's on the bench itself is a 6-year-old girl who questions the world with politics. And the queue's right good. But in the background there you've got a couple who look like they're going to do some tango. So I've been stood here for about 10 minutes just waiting for them to dance. But they don't seem to be doing much. They're just like getting their photographs taken with people. I mean, they've got the music ready. Go and dance, just for me. There you go. My first tango in Argentina. And I'm assuming that's a tango because I have no idea. That was quite cool. a bit of tango dancing in Buenos Aires, and I've come to this street full of old buildings to look at this. This is Casa Minima. This is the narrowest house in Buenos Aires. One story says it was built for a freed slave in the 1800s when slavery was first abolished in Argentina. Now it's only about 2.5 meters wide. It is now a museum, but it's closed. I don't think you can get many people in there if it's only that thin. Wow. But the thing I came to find is the tunnels, and it's just there. So I found out these tunnels show what Buenos Aires looked like before the big European style city was built. And you can go in. Oh, loads of people coming. But I need to find out how much it is first. 33,000. That works about 15-16 pounds to go in. Ouch. Wow. No. I do like quirky, but that price, I mean, it does say a trip to the origins of the city, tunnels and mystery. But if you look at the picture, I mean, from the outside, just looking in, it does look quite interesting. But not on my budget, unfortunately. So yeah, the tunnels are right underneath. So they've built up on top of it. Damn! But seemingly they found the tunnels by accident when someone bought the house in the 1980s and they started renovating it, and they found these tunnels. I bet they're pleased that they started renovating. So I've come to the other side of the city. I'm in the financial side. Look at all the shiny buildings. But I found something online that's just around the corner. It's got a bit of British connection to it. So I'm in a little park, and in front of me is a tower, and this was donated by the British community to the Argentinians in celebration of 100 years of independence. It was called the Tower of England. However, during the Falklands War, got a little bit awkward calling it that. So it's now called the Monumental Tower, Torre Monumental. Now you can go in, and you do get a lift to the very top, but you've got to pay for it. So just above the door, Residence Britannicus. It's got the date. Oh. Old stuff. But when you read the information, it just says it was known as the English Tower, but doesn't say why it changed its name. But just over there, I think, is the old market, but I don't want to go in there. I need to go somewhere else. Well, what I thought was a market is actually a old railway station built in the early 1900s. Argentina used to have one of the biggest railway network in the world, and that was helped by a lot of the British companies, railway companies. But in the 1950s, they nationalised it, and it sort of declined So they've still got a few railway lines going, but not as many as it used to have. So it's opposite the clock tower. I mean, that is still beautiful. So I've got a bus, easy to use, and I'm now in Recoleta, and this is one of the poshest ends. Look, telephone boxes from England. Poshest ends of Buenos Aires. And that's only because in 1871 Buenos Aires had a really bad yellow fever epidemic, and all the richest families, who were all living down like the San Telmo area, where the smallest house in the world was, they moved up to this place, which was all countryside at the moment, and started building their own houses. And it's now the wealthiest part of Buenos Aires. And this cafe here, La Biela, is being recommended by one of my subscribers, Walter, who has donated money to my Buy Me a Coffee page to go and have a coffee here. So I am. But this was famous in the 1950s for race car drivers, especially Formula Ones, to come and have a coffee and chill and relax. And then authors and writers started using it. So I'm going to go inside and have a coffee. I think it looks expensive, so thank you, Walter. This place is massive. I'm just trying to find a seat at the moment. All the staff have got uniform on. Somebody's sitting there, I think. So to Walter, thank you very much. I've ordered. I will have a coffee with you. It's a busy place. When you go through there's so many cafes along here. This is the busiest one. Yeah, it was expensive. Thank you, Walter. I couldn't afford it on my own. So just outside the cafe itself is a 200-year-old tree. So you can just sit under the branches in the cafe itself. Wow, being supported. Otherwise it'd fall over. And then over here is a cemetery where Eva Perón, Evita, is buried. And I'm going to try and find her grave. And there's a market going on just down there. The market itself looks quite big. It's very arty, as I say so there. So the entrance to the cemetery, and it's not like your basic cemeteries that you get. This is like a small little town inside. Oh, you got to pay to get in. 22,600 Argentinian pesos. 11-12 pound. Ouch. And it's only up until 5 o'clock. Time now is 4:20. Ouch. My budget. I really want to go in there as well. Oh, right. I want to go in. Tomorrow's going to be a dust and water day. You get a free map. I am going to be here till 5 o'clock on the dot. So this was used by the wealthy to bury their relatives when they passed on, and they didn't want to do it like a coffin in the ground, so they built these. And obviously I'm just going to follow the crowns to find out where Eva Perón is. It's an amazing place. because you just walk around through like streets with houses, but they're not houses, and there's just little alleyways going along the way. You know, all the big crowds I've been to don't seem to be anywhere near either. And on the map they give you is just a list of lots of famous Argentinians and where to find them. Unfortunately, I've never heard of any of them. Oh wow. Oh, big crowds down there. Follow them. This map is not the best. So when it lists all the famous people, like Evita, it's in pink with grey writing. Can't read it. Can't read it at all. So I am just following groups everywhere, saying, oh, are they going there? Not them. Could be there. But then I've seen this. Thank God for that. Evita. That away. That was her maiden name. And you've got all these plaques. Some of the family. Some just says Evita, Eva Perón. And at the moment, there's just a queue of people that's just trying to get past me. But I was here first. Now you can't look through, but people still leaving flowers. It's a little bit busy over there. So many people. So I've come to somewhere a bit quieter. So have a little walk around. So when Eva Perón died, her husband was going to build a big mausoleum monument for her in here, but then he got overthrown, and the people left over were a bit scared that it would become a bit of a martyr's place, so they secretly buried her somewhere else. And for 16 years no one knew where she was buried, and then it was discovered her body had actually been buried in Italy under a false name. So in 1971, the body was returned to her husband, Juan Perón, and then it was brought back to Argentina and then buried with the rest of her family under her maiden name, just down there. Wow, that's cost me £11 to find that out. It is fascinating. Some of these are built like little mansions. And then when you manage to peer in some of them, there's about 7 or 8 coffins inside. Like that one there. That's got 2. So they're built for families, not just individuals. Serious money. It's coming up to 3 minutes to 5, so I am going to find the exit because I don't fancy getting locked in overnight in this place. Right, that was the cemetery. I've seen Evita. Oh, it's 5 o'clock and the gates are shut, and I think even up to about 5 people are still trying to get in just to see the one grave. But now it's time for me to head back to the hostel. It's time to get some dinner because I'm cooking tonight in the hostel, in the kitchen. I've got some cheap food from the supermarket next door. Just got to work out which way I'm going. Let's go this way. So I've only done, I think, about half of what I wanted to do today. It's because it's spread out all over the place. I've been getting buses and metro between all of them. So I might have to stay another night because I've got already planned tomorrow. But if you've enjoyed this day, then all you got to do is press that like button. If you want to see what I'm up to tomorrow, because 2 football teams, 2 stadiums, I'm going to see both of them, then all you got to do is subscribe. But until the next time, bye bye for now.